Come on the porch, y'all. Stoop was in my head. I have a porch now that I sit on. Y'all come on the stoop and sit with me and hear these Bed-Stuy stories. Yes. I'm going to take this handy out my mouth. It ain't a cough drop. My voice didn't get dry yet. Y'all come on and sit on the stoop. Come sit on the stoop. There was no stoop on Sunday. I'm looking for it to see if I can find my lotion for my hands. I think the camera is adjusted so I don't have to touch it again. So I can take the chance of putting, sorry y'all, out of frame. Isn't this what home TV is all about? Especially for the unprofessionals. Here we go. Here we are. Come on, let's sit on the stoop. I know we didn't have a Sunday. We're not going to have Sunday porch stories because I'm working on a podcast. And I still walk every morning. And this week I've been walking. You heard that pop? And this, I exercise. I walk on a treadmill every morning on YouTube. And this week I've been walking for 45 minutes. Now the dogs are calm. And then close that door. So I'll wait till it becomes a necessity. Hey, y'all. Hey. Welcome to, y'all sitting on the stoop. Welcome to Bed-Stuy Brownstone Stories. And I love Maddie and Warner. So there's your two topics. I'm going to talk about, you can't have one without the other. The Brownstone Bed-Stuy stories are how I became involved in the community. When I was a young chickie, 21, 22, 23, and up. And it was because of this transgender woman. She was going through transition. She had her blockers. But all that was black market then, nothing like stuff like Maddie and them have now and the girls have now available to them. I'm talking about 1979, early 80s, definitely early 80s. And I just broke it up. My marriage just broke it up. I married a West African. That's a whole nother story. We're going to have to name. But it comes into Brownstone stories because I was living in the Brownstones in Bed-Stuy. That's how I got there, because of my ex-husband. So I'm sitting there, I have a child, and babysitters was hard to find. I did telecommunication, the operator, stuff like that. And the place that they put us, because even, it was more important for the Caucasians who were married and who had children to have the day shifts. And when they hired us as minorities, we all got the 4 to 12, 12 to 8 o'clock shifts, and they got the 8 to 4 shifts because they were married. They had to get home. They had to pick up their kids from school. They had to make dinner for their husband, and we were just hood rats that the government made them employ. So we got, even though they knew we were single parents, we still got shifts that 4 to 12, 12 to 8 to make sure that our kids would be dysfunctional and we wouldn't be there or be involved. That's the plan. So I was, at times, I couldn't find a babysitter. 4 to 12, no, you can't find a babysitter. I used to take my daughter to my sister's house, and I would drop, they would pick her up from the daycare. I would take her to the daycare. And when they would remember, because that's the reason why I had to stop working, because they would forget, they would pick up their kids. And I mean, my child was like right there. It's a big daycare. Not like they had like 6 different rooms because they were all around the same age. And they would come there and pick up their kids. And then they would forget my child. And if they could palm their child off like on the grandparents, like they would a month, so they would have to pay a month of daycare. So though we had it worked out where I pick up this week, you pick up this, we had the whole thing work out. When they got tired of it, they would just up and send their kids off to grandparents for a month. And I'm like, okay, so I'm working 4 to 12. The daycare closes at 6. So y'all still going to pick up my child? This is the agreement. And they were like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then I started getting emergency calls at work telling me that if I didn't come pick up my child, they was going to call the Bureau of Child Welfare. And so I would have to run out of work and run to the daycare and apologize, and tip, 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 and sorry, please don't report me, please don't report me. And then after a while, I had to stop because I couldn't do 4 to 12 shifts. Okay, so then I changed again. They kept up on the late shift, but this is the brownstone part of the story. So after a while, you just don't have babysitters and stuff like that, and you just take off and you decide to go on the dole. On they call it the dole in England, but we call it welfare, and try to regroup, try to find you a nice the jobs that they had in the daytime back in the early 80s for working women like me. I'm a minority, and I was living in New York. This is Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, New York. And the jobs they had for us that we worked in the daytime was really, really remedial. I mean, the only way you can get a halfway decent paying job is through telemarketing. And that you can do all day long, and that you can get the day shift for, and that because you can reach the parent, the parents at home and stuff like that. And since telemarketing was a part-time job for the other people, and it became our full-time job because we could be at home with the kids and stuff like that. That worked for us. That's what I started doing. So, but at the time I was between jobs, and I'm sitting out there, and remember Vanessa, I remember when my daughter showed me Funky Geneva and how he was talking to Nessa, I would crack up, but it was so familiar to me. Nessa girl, when he would say that, Nessa girl, it would be so familiar in the back of my head. And I was like, why does this sound familiar, Nessa girl? And he was saying I would crack up. I would know what he was talking about. How would I didn't know Funky Geneva. My daughter introduced me to him. And I was like, why do I know that? Well, in Bed-Stuy, the person who introduced me to Martin was my next door neighbor, Vanessa. And Nessa is what we used to call her. And she used to sit on the porch with me. Nessa had like maybe 3 kids. She married Her husband, straight out of high school, somebody's putting out their garbage, so the dogs will start barking. I have dogs, y'all. And uh, so that's why it was familiar to me. Sitting and talking to somebody named Nessa, and when he said Nessa, girl, listen, he would get that. I was like, boy, yeah, that sounds familiar. Well, I had my Nessa. She lived next door to me in Bed-Stuy. I was 352A, and she was 352. That's how they did it in Bed-Stuy. I lived on Hancock Street between Troop and Tompkins. I took the A train. I took the A train. And whew, give me chills, child. Oof, just thinking back on it. Oof, oh, mm, 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 mm. So that's where I was when Martin would come through. And Vanessa would say, hey, Martin, now you come over. And then Martin would come over. And then I started talking to Martin. And then, Nessa, you know, her husband had issues with Martin. So sometimes when Martin came over, and she would say hi, and we would say hi, and then he'd come over to talk. Then Nessa would like, oh, let me run upstairs, and or suppose she called the kids, she'd have to go, and then she would tell about herself that her husband had issues with Martin. Um, Her husband could not understand, you know. So that's I'm on live. I know. I'm turning it down. I tell you. So I so I had my own Nessa. So kind of throws you off. Throws off your concentration. Okay. So that's part of I had my own Nessa, and that's how I met Martin. And then Nessa would go away because her husband can't think of her husband's name. I know one of my friends had a husband whose name was Boogie, but I don't think it was Vanessa. I think I saw Vanessa's husband a lot. And he like she would be sitting on the porch, but she had to make sure she had his food cooked and all this kind of other stuff. And I should close that door. It's not much, but y'all hold on a minute. I forgot to close this door. See, that's why I'm gonna do one. I can barely sit there and do the one. So that's how I met Mark. And Vanessa would go off so her husband wouldn't see her talking to us on the stoop. So it went from Vanessa being on the stoop, waving Martin down, Martin coming over, I'm coming over to Vanessa next door to me. I was 352A and Vanessa was 352. So that's the way that went. So then Martin used to I would wave at Martin and he would just come over and speak to me. So I would ask Martin because to me, I couldn't understand why anyone would want to be a woman. I was one, and I was taught not to like it. The menstrual cycle was a curse. The breast was also a curse. The whole womb thing was a curse. And I had to be trained how to take care of men. And here I'm looking at Martin, and she's happy to be a woman, even if it's just on the inside of her. That's the dogs fighting in the background. See why I cut it down to one day? I can barely get one day out. So um, I was amazed by that. I would be looking at more like, do you want to be, uh, which he would tell me, he would say, no, Vicky, it's not I want to be. On the inside, I am. I am. Just on the outside, it doesn't look like it. But so I would say, why do you want, we're Adam's rib. We're Adam's rib. we're not anything. We're Adam's rib. That's what I was taught. What he the whole rib. He all the ribs that from I could see on the outside. Cosmetically. He all the ribs. Why he would want to be reduced to just one rib? I can understand. Remember, uh, well, then I'm like 22, 23. I just came from being in the down south, Charleston, South Carolina, in the whole Baptist cult thing. Just broken into. I remember the first time I said, "Oh, y'all come together." I said to my cousins, I was like, "Come on, let's catch the bus. We can go down. I heard we can go over to some beach or something like that." And they looked at me like I was on crazy. You can't go anywhere without boys. Why would I have to take them? That's the way it was. As a woman, you couldn't go on the store. Like three of us, we couldn't go anywhere unless we had a male cousin with us, and they were disgusting. And so they knew that a lot of stuff we couldn't do unless the boys did it. So I couldn't understand. I was like, "You got all the ribs. Why would you want to be a one rib? Why would you want to be reduced to that? Why would you want to? Why?" And sometimes I sit down when I look at Maddie and them, I said, "Why would you want to be involved in this cult that basically says that a woman is a rib? That's why you can kill her. That's why you can beat her. That's why you can do all these things." Just in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That young girl. First of all, she just a rib. Then she from a black rib. And that's a good old white man. But it's a man. So whatever he says goes. So I'm looking at that. I mean, I didn't have all this information. I'm just coming from, like I said, I was coming from the South. I'm telling the story of Brownstone. I'm back in the early 80s, late 90s. So I'm just leaving, just came from college, just like 5 years of intense cult training. I had to be reminded time and time again of my non-worth because I'm a woman. If I'm good at something, I'm good at cooking. I'm good at baking. I'm good at cleaning up the house, so I could be good at cleaning a man's clothes. When I started dating, I had to have the guy I was dating write a letter to take responsibility for me because I could not take any responsibility for myself. And here I'm looking at Martin, and she's loving being a woman. And I'm like, how do you do that? Show me how to do that. Show me how to love being a woman. I've never been taught that. I was listening to The Good Marriage, on a podcast. The title of the podcast was True Crime Brewery, but the story was about the good marriage. And the good marriage was that her husband came first, The kids came next. I think the dog cleaned up the house. And then I think she was 5 or 6. And she taught women, Christian women, and that's another thing. I never wanted that. When I was dating a few years back, I was like, why don't you go on Christian Mingle? And I hear Maddie talk about that, which I always laugh. And I was like, really? I'm not going on Christian Mingle. If I go on Christian Mingle, that means that the man that I meet expects me to be subservient. And I know this because I'm a Christian. The man I marry, or the man I was involved with from Christian Mingle, being a Christian, excuse me, knows that he can cheat on me, and I'm going to put up with it because, again, my loyalty is to stand by him no matter what he does. And that ain't me. Cheat on me, I'll cut your dick off. Just go ahead and keep on going. Don't even come back. So that ain't me. So I knew not to go looking for Christian Mingle. I'm not folding up your clothes and doing all this stuff. I did it. So that's when I looked at Martin, and he loved everything about being a woman. And he said, you put some rouge on, you make up, and you're so pretty. And I was like, no one ever called me pretty before. And here's Martin, and she's telling me. And we're doing the makeup together. I remember the first time Martin put on mascara. I kept blinking. I never put on mascara before. Mascara. Lord, there was something about this would set my bed on fire and burn me to sleep. That coat. Now they're getting away with a lot of stuff. I'm sure you can hear the dog in the background. I wish there was some kind of way to filter this. But that's why that was only once a week. It's too stressful trying to get that clear time for 2 times. See, I can't even get it for the 1. But I couldn't believe it, and I was just blinking, and he's like, no, Vicky, you have to do it like that, and he's showing me on him, and I love Martin eyelashes. Her eyelashes, see, I'm changing my dialect. Her eyelashes was so pretty, and just the way she loved the parts of her that was woman. Of course, we had to stuff the bra. Okay, we stuffed the bra, but it gave her such a beautiful shape. Beautiful legs. Did I ever tell you more? Just when I started walking and having to look myself last year, just last year, I'm gonna have to put dogs in a cage. I may have to stop doing what I'm doing and put a dog in a cage, because I cannot believe. Do you hear that? Do you see why it's hard for me to do you see why it's hard for me to get out one live? I tell you. Oh, I gotta spam you. Okay. So so I'm sitting there, and Martin is, mascara. I was blinking so hard. But finally we got it. And it made my eyelashes a lot longer. And then, slowly but surely, I would go shopping. I'd pick up little makeup thingies and bring it back. And, Martin would come over and yeah, I learned how to line my eyes, how to use the eyeliners. And um, I don't know, mostly Spanish women had it back then, but the eyeliner where you went up like the side of your eye and stuff, and I had never seen it really look good. Um, he lined my lips with the eyeliner and taught me how to fill it in and oh, oh, I had the best time. And all the way through, he would say, look how, and that's how he was. Oh, look how it looks on me. It looks so pretty on me. It looks, and you try this and this looks pretty on you. And I was like, wow, pretty woman. Wow. I so that's how I got into the community. After that, it was my friend Shane, a gay boy. I guess they would call him a punk. I worked on the job at the UN Plaza Hotel, and I was all over Manhattan. So I had my gay coworkers that I would hang out with. I had my trannies, my bus trannies, which is a dangerous thing, and Maddie knows it. And I gotta give it to the girls that are still on the bus. But I'm like, Maddie, get you a car, honey, get you something. Because it was rough. Because me and Beverly we used to do the bus, and sometime it was got so rough we used to get off, especially if it was pretty nice. We used to get off and just like walk almost a mile to yeah. And people who live in Westchester know what I'm talking about. We would get off the top of the hill 13 bus and just let it go, and then we would just walk down and just chat and have a good time. And Beverly was my transgender woman friend. So this all came about because at my age, and I've been working out, I'm looking kind of good. I'm like, you know what? If I were to date again at this old age, who would I want? I don't want no old man. I don't want no old man. I want an old transgender woman. Yes, I do. I want, yes, yes, I want to relive the Mia Martin days. It could be sex or it could be no sex. But I just love the makeup. I remember us going to stores and, they would spray the perfume and stuff on you. They would try not to spray it on him. Oh, sorry, we have cologne. And he'll say, he wants to know, just give me a spray, a dash of this or that. I would laugh. We go around smelling. I don't know if y'all remember, Corvettes was there, but I'm talking about, which has totally changed. I'm talking about downtown Brooklyn. And they had the mall down there. I think the mall is even gone because I worked in the mall for about 6, 7 months. Yeah. So that's what I want. And that's how this Bed-Stuy story, because I couldn't understand. Now, I was, like I said, 22, 23. And I'm all through there. Any LGBTQ issue was going on, I was all there. And I want you to have your rights, do what you do. But and I was passionate about it, but I couldn't think of where that passion came from. And I'm not gay. I'm strictly dickly. I'm not gay. So where would this come from? You know what I'm saying? Where would this? I had forgotten about Martin. She made me start loving myself as a woman. She made me, Martin, start putting more into my appearance, uh, uh, dressing up, stuffing bras, the whole 9 yards. And I had forgotten about it. But see, it was still in me. So that's why I had forgotten about working with the community. Got all about it. But every issue that affected them, I was right there. Can I give money? What do I have to sign? But I didn't know where it came from. But it was there. And then when my daughter turned me on to the Queen's Court, I hope I don't get sued by nobody, which was T.S. Madison and Kaya. And they were the funniest thing ever. But who I connected with was T.S. Fell madly in love with, felt like I had known her all my life, felt like all the hair tutorials, the makeup tutorials, anything, I was right there. And it was so familiar to me. The nails, I would be right there looking at it. And I just couldn't remember. Why am I connected to TS like that? What is going on, child? What is going on? I remember. I remember Martin. That was my house mother. When I go through house or look at the LGBT community, especially like the balls and different things like that with the girls. Um, my daughter brought up the other night. She was like, "Mommy, we were big Logo fans." And I didn't know why we was, but we was big Logo fans. I didn't know. I had forgotten about Martin. But I was so happy we had Logo. Yes, we was on the ground floor with RuPaul. We loved Logo. The movies. I think the word L, that was on Logo. I didn't know why. And then I'm going through all this. What do I want? Is it made for the rest of my life? Yada, 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 yada. And then it came back to when I was a young girl and it said, that's who you want. That's who you always related to the community, but not in like a lesbian type of relationship. Just knowing and liking the girls and know that they've always helped me. You know, I haven't talked about going out with Martin, but that's a whole another story. Okay, so that's the first half. That's how this Bed-Stuy Brownstone story came about. Because when I met Martin, she lived in her mother's brownstone on Hancock Street between Troop and Tompkins. And I lived on Hancock Street between Troop and Tompkins, and we see each other coming. And that's how I know now how I began to love T.S. Madison, because the first woman that ever made me love being a woman was a transgender woman. All the women that I was meeting was like me. Your menstrual cycle is a curse. Your breasts are a curse. You ain't even a whole person. You're a rib. And then I met Martin, and she said everything about being a woman is fantastic and phenomenal. The giving of birth is awesome. I just remember looking at Martin, and I had a child, and I was like, really? I was told it was my curse to bear. And he was like, ooh, girl. Ooh, 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 no, no. You know? And your breasts, love breasts. Like, listen, I used to wear those Playtex bras because back in my grandmother's cult, nothing could jiggle. So used to be in these horsted things with the pointy things. I don't know, but the pointy bra. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. Everything was cinched in the pointy bras. And Martin taught me how to round them out, how to round out the bras, and to just how to maneuver my breast in it. And I didn't know. And that's what he used to do. He used to dig in. He said, "Come here, you look a little pointy," and he's going in there and moved everything around. And it never bothered me. And it looked great after he finished. She finished. So what the hell? All right, so that's the Bed-Stuy part. So now I have to get to the T.S. Madison show. Sorry, y'all get dry when I start talking a lot. Um, T.S. Maddie in the morning came first, and then turned out. That's where she would, but I don't look at it like that. I look at turned out first, and then I watch Maddie in the morning because I have time to sit down and look at it. When she comes on, and when Maddie in the morning comes on in the afternoon, me and my daughter call it Maddie in the morning and the afternoon. I miss it. My afternoons are taken, so I have to catch it in replay. But just let me talk just a little bit first about Turned Out. Great show, love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'll be right there. I'll be right there texting, giving love. Excuse me, was cracking up. When they did the opening things and they said that um, I didn't eat before I came on here. I should have did that. Um, when they said that Dr. Heavenly was going to be on there, and I know Maddie said that they was trying to rein her in with her profanity, and when I saw Dr. Heavenly, I said to myself, really? 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 I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. That woman curses a mile a minute. So, of course, but she didn't do too bad. I got to give it to Dr. Heavenly. She did not do too bad on Turned Out. She let a few fly, but that's how she is. That's her right. Of course, to be a boss. And she's a boss. Okay, stop my stomach from growling. She's a boss. So that was something. It was nice. So I kept looking at Dr. Heavenly's legs. They were perfect for me. Nicely lotioned. The skirt that she had on, very nice. I think the way she sat really accentuate. I mean, she's all woman, not under the curse of the cults. So she knows she's all woman. So I like. I liked her and Maddie together in the interview. So I'm doing this backwards because Tamar was first. Tay Tay. It was good having her, seeing Tay Tay on. Um, I know wherever you see Tay Tay, you're gonna see James and oh my goodness, Miss Miss Lawrence. Miss Lawrence. So you know when you see Tamar, you're gonna see James and Miss Lawrence. So they were on the show um, for a bit. I don't know what they did. I just can't remember. I didn't make any notes of it. I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't make any notes of it. Maddie looked beautiful as ever. Um, I just it's I love the thing that I loved about the Tamar segment because it reminded me of a talk show, the Tonight Show. How Maddie was sitting and talking to the end of the table, and you know the camera on the side the other way, right? But I kind of like that whole talk show, um, or what do you call it? Like a late night talk type thing. I don't know, Johnny Carson. Okay, that's the generation I'm coming from. So I like that. And when she was interviewing Tamar. And I also like, I can find my notes. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. I like the Queens. I wrote it down somewhere. Of course, I can't find it now. Was it the Queen's language? I'm probably not saying it right, but I did like that segment. Miss Sophia did it the first time, and then Tamar did it at the table. So I kind of like that segment. I have to get more used to it and get into it. I'll be, more into it next time. Um, I Maddie didn't do. Maddie didn't curse too much. I think she only slipped one, and that was really good because so she's there. And I gotta tell you, I wrote this because Maddie, you know, and she said it when I saw Maddie in the morning. She put it out there, and that's why I'm riding with you. That's why I'm doing like this, but I'm riding with you. I am riding with you. I will look at Turned Out. I will look at every episode you put on, even though it's on FAUX Soul. And I put here, as soon as I saw it, vomiting in my mouth about Fox Soul. I love Maddie. Lord knows I do. That's why Maddie is the reason I watch the show. But I hope Martin, my Martin, and all the girls on the other side make BET and TV1 give her that late night talk show slot, that 11 o'clock talk show spot, so she can do her interviews and we can have an adult conversation because that's all it is. That's all it is. LTBQ, the community conversation is just an adult conversation. And the fact that as adults we can't conversate, it lets you know how deep the cults are. Because cults just want you to listen. They don't want you to conversate. They want you to obey. They don't want you to conversate. They like doctors I've had over my lifetime. They don't want to conversate with me. They just want to tell me what to do because they went to school and they found out how black people are. And they know what is wrong with me, what's ailing me, what I'm not doing. Every time I walk in the office, I don't see that, but they see me walk in the office sucking on a candy cane, um, uh, covered in fried chicken grease and sucking on pig knuckles. So that no matter what I say, no matter what I talk to them, it doesn't matter. So, so just having an adult conversation where you exchange ideas, that's what it's about. And I think that BET or TV1 should come through, get off your high horse, shake yourself loose of the cults. Shake yourself loose of the cults. Corona is helping us shake free of the cults. And put Maddie on at night so she can host her own show and give us an adult conversation that I know I so desperately want. Okay, so there we go. Oh, now I'm back to Maddie in the morning. That's why I'm glad there's Maddie in the morning, 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 Maddie in the morning. What? You see? My daughter always said, Mommy, what a simple introduction song. All you say is Maddie in the morning. So that was it. Um, Miss Sophia came on Maddie in the morning. I'm probably doing things out of order, but okay, yes. Oh yes, Miss Mary sent down some good lunch to T.S. and Madison and to Mo. Love Mo. I don't love Mo's Nigerian call center brothers and sisters because when I go over to the TikTok, I'm telling you, every Nigerian call center man of God starts following me and sending me messages, and they love me madly. They all love me, and they want my telephone number, they want my address, and eventually they'll want me to give them money. And I've tried it a few times. I tried it for and I can't shake them, and they're always there, and then it's always coming up in my messages and stuff like that. I can't even enjoy the TikTok. I mean, talent, TikTok talent. I mean, there is talent over there. African American talent. I love the talent we have over there. I laugh. I have a good time. I could blow 2 hours in TikTok with no problem. But just keep sending me their messages and this one following you, and I go through, and even though I comment on some of the entertainment, and I give them their stars up, and I send them the little roses and stuff like that, I can't respond because the minute I go into my message, all I see is every Nigerian call center. Everybody is working on an oil thing in the Middle Ocean. Everybody is a doctor, lawyer, and this shit. Everybody loves me madly and wants to hold and comfort me. So I like Nigerian Mo, but that's it. So now, while I'm looking at Maddie in the morning, this guy comes from the county. Haters. She don't got a fence around her pool, but I always look the same thing. It's a ground pool. It's a above ground pool. Okay. And I saw it. I saw the whole layout of it because she had Miss Mary, and Miss Mary loves it. And I got to tell you, through the whole thing, I was saying to myself, they said it was probably resolved by now. Excuse me. It's probably resolved by now. But when I was looking at this on Monday, um, they came to complain about her not having a gate around the pool and the whole 9 yard. It's above ground pool, and it ain't like you can just walk off the street or walk from the yard. And from what I'm seeing, everybody goes to the house. Maybe there's a side stairs. I didn't see it. But they kept saying a neighbor and blocks. I gotta tell you something. I'm in these YouTube streets, Maddie, where you used to be, and something deep, 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 deep inside of me keeps telling me it's a YouTuber. It's a hater. It's a hater. It's a hater. It is a hater just as sure, because all summer, but now she got turned out. She just got out from jazz. She's just doing so many things, and that's the haters. That's them haters and to me, it's the gay boys. Mountain used to always tell me when in the community, and this came from Martin, the gay boys. It's the boys. So I think it's the boys that turn Martin in. And it's nothing to turn them in for. It's what they call doxing. I'm reading a book on it right now. I'm reading Blaine's book about doxing. But she said his neighbor is somebody from the block of the community or whatever, the association, homeowners association. But no, soon as I watch it go down, To me, I said it's a hater on the line. It's a hater. You just anyway, because the more you do, I'm so proud. I love Maddie. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. That's why I want BET, TV1. Give her a nice evening slot so we can have. I can. Excuse me. So I could lay in bed like my aunt and mother and them used to do to Johnny Carson, and I could lay there and look at Maddie in the evening and have a whole adult conversation with the community, with women, with men, etc., etc. It'll be beautiful. So I just want the ancestors to start working on that. Okay. So that's it. There's some articles here. What else is there? Okay, this is an article. This is an article. You know, I was supposed to put this in there a long time ago. I have a gaydar. I do. I have a gaydar. I know when I'm in the presence of a community member. I know. I didn't know how I knew until I put it all together. I hung out with Martin. We would walk these Bed-Stuy streets. We would go to the mall. We would go shopping. We would go up and down Fulton Avenue. No, I mean, Nostrand Avenue. You know, I don't even know if the Pathmark shopping mall and stuff over there. I think that little ice skating rink. I don't know if it's all over there, but that's where it was on Fulton. And we went up and down Nostrand Avenue and we hung out. So, and just, Martin liked to talk, and I was just a sponge. I was so young. I couldn't say, oh, you're not telling the truth. I didn't know. I didn't know about the community. I was like, wow, whoa, whoa. That was my whole conversation. Whoa, whoa, for years. Wow, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it just kept going in. And then all of a sudden at this age, I'm like, why do I know this? Why do I understand this? How do I understand this? How have I heard this? Okay, when Maddie and them talk, I was like, how do I know this? How have I heard this? That's how I'm trying to do it in an hour, because I think that's all the dogs will let me do. She did some articles, and she said, she was talking about the people who had died. Louis Anderson, Meatloaf, Tolly the designer. I don't know anything. That's a community. I don't understand that part of the community. There are so many African American designers right now who are number one, top of the game, better than those corporations that you are dumping stuff into. Every time you say, listen to, every time you say something is Gucci instead of saying good, you help Gucci make money, and Gucci don't give you nothing. I don't see where Gucci. Maddie is full of designers, but I see Bolt advertises with her, and I see Goldie. The wig manufacturers, I don't know if they do it so much now. She's probably so busy she can't get to it, but they used to um, send her the wigs, and she would do the tutorial, which I loved. But I don't see any of those designer people you talk about putting any commercial, any money into you. But in the community, they're talked about a lot, and I never understood that. But that could be from the cult teaching, because you got to be better than. You got to be better than. And the only way to be better than is to put. Anyway, let's see. What else did I get? So then she went into some articles and stuff. She went into that chip challenge that they had. I didn't know they have a challenge that's putting everybody in these chips that are so hot that if you can eat one, and it's making everybody sick. So basically, I see a lot of young people trying to eat poison and see if they live. But the poison is a chip, potato chips that are being sold. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. Okay, Maddie was looking for the word for, accidentally used the word retardation in describing a mentally challenged person. And then we had to go and find the words, and she was looking for special needs. Uh, oh, someone on the show said to Maddie that there was too much ebonics on the show. Too much ebonics on the show. You looking at a show hosted by an African American woman, talking about African American issues and the LGBTQ community. Yes, ebonics is going to be said. um. Oh, Medea, an actress from Medea. Her name is Ion Oberman, and 18 others named in the PPP fraud indictment. Really? Really? So now, even if you ain't breaking the law, you ain't selling no drugs, you ain't selling no pussy, you ain't doing all that stuff, you're still getting trapped and thrown in jail behind some dumb shit. Really? Maddie said it right. If your business wasn't as such as you was driving a Lamborghini, when you get the don't be driving the Lamborghini afterwards. Get the money from driving a Lamborghini. Stay within your means. And I'm shocked because I thought they were staying within their means. Well, the TV is turned up. My time is running out. Let me see. I got 2 minutes. I don't know if y'all can hear me over the TV, but let's see. Okay. Oh, Howard Stern says hospitals should ban anti-vaxxers. Go home and die. Maddie says no one should be turned away from the hospital. But if you get sick from not wearing masks, you should have a special hospital. And I agree. They used to, I don't know if y'all remember the Black Plague in Europe. Okay. So they had a place where almost it's like, okay, like they used to do the what's the disease people in the Bible that used to be in my head that used to have that disease, and they used to take them all, the flesh eating disease. They would take them all and put them on an island, and I think they did something else, and that was in Africa. Can't think of that disease. Well, thank goodness, thank goodness, thank goodness that book is being washed from my memory. Whew, thank goodness. But there in Europe during the Black Plague, they had special places where they used to send them to. So Maddie spoke about that, and she said no one should be turned away. But I agree with Howard Stern. I am not vaccinated. I don't go out there with anyone, and if I get it, I will be at home. And if I pass away, I will be taken. My dead body will be taken from here to the morgue. I will be like Miss Mary. I will be saying, please don't call them people on me. Please don't call them people on me. I'm going to stand in mine. I'm not going to run to the hospital. I'm here quarantining myself, spraying myself, making sure. So, okay, I got to get out of here. I probably missed some stuff, but the Bed-Sty story is the longest because that's the reason for the show. I'm not clout chasing. I just love Maddie, and I just love Maddie in the morning, and I love Turned Out, and I love y'all, and I'm Let's see if I can get my music going. And then I can I can barely, you see, I can barely get an hour. I can barely get an hour of no background noise, no background nothing. So that's another reason why I had to cut off Sundays. It's stressful. It's stressful. Oh, not talking to y'all, just trying to find a quiet place. Thanks for coming on the stoop and hearing my Bed-Stuy porch story. But we all peoples. Oh, and before I go, I want you to know, love Tasha K. Stand in it, Tasha K. Stand in it. We loved you. Okay, I'll see you next Thursday. I'm going to keep trying to get a quiet Thursday. But thanks for coming and joining in Bed-Stuy Brownstone Stories. I'll see you next time. Oh, please subscribe. Hit the like button. Thank you.